Hello everyone, this is Tanya Rai and today I am going to teach Introduction to Symbolic Logic. First, to understand deductive reasoning, we need a general theory of deduction. A general theory of deduction have two objectives. Firstly, to explain the relations between premises and conclusions in deductive arguments, that is either it is classical or Aristotelian logic, whatever it is. And secondly, to provide techniques for discriminating between valid and invalid deductions. Now the question is, what is symbolic logic? It uses symbolic notations in expressing propositions and arguments. For example, that P implies Q dot Q implies R implies P implies R. That means if the first, then the second, and if the second, then the third. Then if the first, then the third. From the example, we can deduct that concentrates in the form and simplest kind of logic. So it is focused on forms and it is the simplest kind of logic, and its modern development began with George Boole in the 19th century. So what is the necessity of the creation of symbolic logic? Ordinary everyday language is flowery and ambiguous. Because of the invocations, amphiboly, ancient, vagueness, we are trying to simplify the language. In order to avoid the common difficulties of ordinary language, we need an artificial language that substitutes it using minimal characters and consequently represents it with high degree of clarity and simplicity. There is also an economy of space and time. What are the goals of symbolic logic? Firstly, learn the elements of the new language. Secondly, learn how to translate ordinary language grammar into symbolic notations and represents arguments in the new language. Subfields of symbolic logic, there is a propositional logic and predicate logic. Propositional logic is originally called as propositional calculus, and predicate logic is called as predicate calculus. Propositional logics, and there are two types of propositions, and one is simple propositions and another is compound propositions. And simple proposition is a simple statement does not contains any other statement as a component. Statements which cannot be broken down without a loss in meaning, like Riya and Raj is a couple. It cannot be broken into two pieces. Now, how do we represent propositions in propositional logic? We are trying to represent a statement with simple symbols. Like Riya and Raj is a couple. If we are take it as A, Meghna and Shayantani are diligent students A dot B. So the symbol dot is used to represent the logical operator and conjunction. So this is a symbolic logic, and there is two constant and variables. These two things are uses to use. And what are constants? That capital letters that represent the actual statement, since it represents the definite statements. Like Riya and Raj is a couple. If it is a constant statement, so it will be represented by A. And variables, the value variables. What is variables? That the value is constantly varying. Like Riya and Raj is a couple. If we take it a small a, then we can use small k with another statement. So this is the symbolic logic, and this is the end of my class. Thank you so much.